For having me here tonight, and thank you everyone for coming out. I guess I can't wish you a happy Poetry Month anymore, so maybe happy almost end of Poetry Month. That's we're getting there. It's been great. Alright, so this poem was written for my grandfather at the peak of my frustration with his Alzheimer's disease right around 2006. It's an oldie but a goodie. Read this fast. It's the coal region gas prices, 10 gallons for $1. It's the war. It's high-speed Charlie's to Philly. It's Hamilton Street's heyday back in '55. It's Bethlehem Steel this, Bethlehem Steel that. It's the war. It's the story about Big Floyd and the factory fog. The French guy who called me Joseph, Joseph, Joseph because he hated Clarence. Because you said pomme de terre when he wanted apples and got potatoes, and no one knows who the fuck these people are. It's the war. It's the war. It's the war. It's every single fucking time I go to replace the TV set and you rock back in the black shade, cocked in the recliner near the window like a specter and tell me it's the same set from the 50s. It's Bethlehem Steel. It's Floyd. It's the French fuck. It's Joseph, 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 Jesus Christ. It's the war. It's somehow, somewhere, something has changed. Some door just broke open sideways on its hinge, rocking. It's 1 Manhattan, 2 Manhattans, 3 Manhattans, floor. It's the war. It's like running barefoot in the snow. It's like watching people pray. It's every back road in every corner of Allentown, not a single fucking clue in hell what day, what month, what year it is. It's Hamilton Street's heyday, Grandpa, but it's bigger than that. It's the trolley system works, but it's no longer there. It's putting $10 in your tank, but moving the needle just below half. It's the war. It's the war. It's hallelujah, but guess what? No one's coming home. It's another Manhattan, Christmas Eve, far away in the dark, rocking, rocking, yet you keep calling my mom Sue, Sue, Sue. She's never been Sue in her whole fucking life. You're calling me Tommy, you're calling my grandma Mom, and your chest is compressed from crying, because you are not Joseph, you have never been Joseph in your whole fucking life, you are my grandpa, my goddamn grandpa, and you can call me whatever you want, but I will love you longer than I can possibly live. Thank you. I gotta get this working. Alright. I'll stand over here. Alright, that's good. Cool. Perfect. So anyway, that was a poem for him in 2006, and he just turned 92 last month, so he's still rocking and rolling. And he's such a sweet guy. So he's been a very inspirational father figure of mine. I've written a lot about him, and my actual father was a really great dad for the first, I would say, 20 years of my life, and then we hit a bit of a rift. And we just kind of reconciled 2 years ago. It was really beautiful. But this next poem was written at the peak of my frustration with him and our relationship. And it has a funny story, which I'll tell you later. This is called Reconsidering the Single Father. You, my first sip of beer, the vomit that followed. Please, Father, do not judge me as I prevent my couch from floating off this Friday night before my son arrives. Allow me time to collect the spit it takes to scream your name into your answering machine for decades without response. I felt a weight lift from my body as you carried me upstairs, a certain helplessness when you clicked the light. Father, let us curl back our bottom lips at the V in divorce. Explode the perfect O as though we were yelling at our landlords together. But imagine that, together. And I harbor a hatred for myself. It grows each time I brush my son's teeth. It grows in the tent sleep we share on vacation. And it's damn near tragic. He will not forget me, but will I reconsider my role, my critical importance for those years that follow his 20th birthday, his 50th. Is this my fate, Father, to leave my son, but never fully disappear? I think of training wheels, and when you finally took them off, me wobbling everywhere as I pull my beer to my lip. If you folks are interested, there are 20 more poems, kind of just like those two. I know they're 3 different, but there's a lot of different poems. poems in this book. What I did was I took my first 2 chapbooks and condensed them into one streamlined product. And you'll see why if you read the book. And it's only $5. So, but I do want to read some new stuff because I've actually been productive. This is good. So this first poem is an Atlantic City poem, not the part that we usually talk about. The Lutz. You guys familiar with the Lutz? All right, Steakhouse and Gentlemen's Club. It's like right down the road. This is a well-researched poem. Okay? And it includes a works cited list. So I'll read the poem and then the works cited list. And it's in Chicago, of course, Chicago format. All right, Dallas. And in that mouth, in that black hole of dangling stars, I'm staring at so many things. Your teeth, pink inner cheek, tongue. That men could speak of you, but not to you, or to you, but not loudly. A long moan I've heard from a long, anonymous body towering over you. And to that skin, buffed, polished, spotlit, I say nothing. To the spinal curve, nothing. To the curled toes, trembling in stilettos, nothing. Works cited. She be going down to the world tonight. She be going down way outside. She be going down to the world tonight. And then she be infinitive, whatever that is, lifelike, no more, no less. So, and this last poem is my Peter Murphy poem. This is the one I wrote right here in this hall, just a short while ago. For those of you who haven't been to a Peter Murphy writing workshop, he actually lets you write, which is like amazing. So thank you for that opportunity, Peter. And I didn't follow too much of the prompt, but a lot of what it led to something good, which is good. And I spent the whole day writing this, and a lot of the themes from that day are here. So those of you who were at that workshop might recognize some things. And this is for my mom, so I will close with this poem. And it's a little long, it's got 3 parts. So this is called The Long Fall of Venice Golf and Country Club. 1. It was summer, always summer. A hedge clipper nips the ribcage of a bushman mid-swing, massive 9-iron skyward. The main gate stays silent, shrouded in palms. Mark Hostetter rots, mouth slack, now one with his bed. Sometimes, if you listened to the sprinkler systems, you fell into a rhythm like a fisherman whose soul stays locked in seawater long after he's docked his boat. You fell. You missed Wisconsin, or Maine, or Pennsylvania. On days like this, when the Ladies' League donned fuzzy pink sweaters, you thought, Christ, it's only 65, and put on long johns. 2. The night Dan canceled, his cancer chewed another chunk of his pancreas. My stepfather, bothered, said, now we'll have an extra fillet. How the hell will we seat for 7? Mom shuffled, champagne in hand. Their other guests included Jeff, whose new lungs began rejecting the owner like a lover gone dry mid-thrust. Stan shook his hands with friends, yet remembered none of them, and could no longer tell his reflection from his skin. Knees shattered, Edward entered upon 2 pillars of bone which were propped rigid under the glass table. When was the last time you felt alone? 3. Listen, the wives are screaming. It's late December, and the wives are screaming. Shells of husbands flood the street. Elsewhere, on Sharkey's Pier, Calypso caresses all in attendance, and the sea rolls. A cold night is upon them, and some drunk wants to make love to the water. He's out on the pier's edge, thinking of his grandchildren, now teenagers, who give 2 shits about fishing with him. He doesn't feel cold anymore. When Jane Hofstetter wakes, a sonic quake hits Summerfield Way, and yet no ripple in the pond, no sound of the heron folded inside the alligator's jaw. It was summer, always summer, till frost fell on the palms, cracked them like old hips that thought they could run.